good afternoon, and I'm excited to share with you guys a couple of preamps that I got a couple weeks ago for demo from the same guy I got the Emotiva stuff from, the same guy I got the audio research from, and of course the same guy I got the Marantz turntable from, a local guy who kind of buys and resells hi-fi and stereo gear. And anyway, the audio research kind of bit the dust, or at least the volume control did. There was an issue with the resistor ladder volume control that's inside of it. It became progressively worse. It seems like every time I had the unit on, it started to crackle through the speakers, and it was obviously that. Audio research can repair it, but I decided to sort of part ways with it just to kind of explore and try something new. And anyway, let me turn you guys around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We've got two preamplifiers here. Of course, we've got the PS Audio Stellar Gain Cell DAC and the Ayre Acoustics K5XE-MP. Markedly different, not only in their specification, but also their sound. Let's talk about it and, kind of show you guys what I think. And start off with the Ayre Acoustics. Well, the build quality here is fantastic. It's really top notch. I honestly really don't think you could get better build quality, although you probably can. It's very well made. All the buttons, the switches, the volume control, everything just works really, really well and functions really great. It has a mute switch on the unit itself, which is really rare. It also has a built-in built-in tape loop, and a legitimate tape loop, like the old style tape monitors of the 70s. Has balanced ins and outs and single-ended ins and outs. And sonically, it's a very neutral sounding product. However, with great tone and great timbre and great speed and resolution to the music. Whatever you put into it, it just sounds really really clear, crystalline, and sounds really good. You really get a sense of great space and definition to the sonic picture. There's a great separation to left and right, but without them being disconnected. You feel it's like a whole sound stage, left to right and right to left. It's really tremendous in that way. And it has this great sense of flow. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I think that the British call it Pratt, and I've used that term before, but it has this great sense of just letting the music flow out, and you really get kind of the musical intent to it, intent to the music, if you know what I mean. What else? That's really it. I mean, one thing it really does, I really like, is, to me, a good piece of gear is one in which when I turn it off, I'm still humming the songs I was listening to while the unit was on. And oh, by the way, this thing does not have a power switch of any kind. When you plug it in, it automatically is on. And when you unplug it, it's off. That's the only way to turn it off. It does not have a power switch. It just is on. And there is a button on the remote to deactivate the display right there. But yeah, that is how you do it. But anyway, no power switch of any kind. But yeah, when the unit's off, you're still humming the music that you were listening to. You're still jamming along, because of how good it sounded. And that's the way this thing is. It really, really does that really, really well. Well, anyway, let's talk about the Stellar Gain Cell DAC. So in comparison, the PS Audio is also well built, more fully featured. It's got a DAC, it's got balanced ins and outs, single-ended ins and outs. Of course, you have selectable filters. It has a balance control, has a headphone jack. Way more fully featured than the Ayre Acoustic, but in my opinion, it doesn't sound as good. It sounds good, and it sounds different as well. But you get less clarity to the sound stage, less clarity to the musical intent with the PS Audio. The performance is more forgettable. Also, there's way more grain in the sound, in the sort of the sound that you're hearing with the PS Audio versus the Ayre. The PS Audio is definitely more warmer sounding. It's got more body to it, more like texture to the sonic image. But It doesn't have that sense of drive and flow that the Ayre does. It is dynamic and rhythmic sounding, and it comes across as sounding that way. But again, I think the performance is way more forgettable here. It sounds more pedestrian versus the Ayre acoustic. The Ayre acoustic has the sense of it's an event when you listen to music. It's, you know, it's a musical event. Whereas again, the PS Audio is a little bit more passable, you know, a little bit more pedestrian. But overall, that sounds like a knock to the Stellar Gain Cell DAC, and it certainly isn't. I just think in comparison, this is a much more nicer preamplifier. Now, if you do like the warm sonic signature and kind of the thicker, you know, meatier sound, which I do like, but in this case, I think for me personally in my system with the Emotiva, the Ayre just kind of comes across as a better match sonically. Not that this is bad, but I like this better. I also like the Ayre acoustics in the sense that it has a better sense of left is left and right is right, and you get this better, you know, better, I use the word delineation all the time, but this better delineation to the sound stage, and you get a whole sonic picture across, you know, your speakers. Whereas this, it feels a little flatter. It's definitely not as deep, and you know, it feels more two-dimensional. And then also because of the grain that you hear in direct comparison, it comes across as kind of more woolly sounding. But again, that's not a knock to the Stellar, because in isolation, the Stellar is actually a great preamplifier. It works well, it functions fantastic. The couple weeks I've had it, it hasn't had any issues with anything. You know, no problems whatsoever. So, but anyway, what do you guys think? I thought I would do this, sort of try to do this quick video and kind of share my thoughts with you guys. But anyway, peace out, and hopefully you have a good weekend.